Shush, Polly. Hi. At least I know that there's a couple of you out there. Oh, 5 people now. Hello, hello. Polly, shush. Polly is being a pest. Hey, Robin Deb, good to see you. Hello, Tallulah. Polly's dinner is next to me. She won't eat it, but she also doesn't want Tallulah to eat it. So she's barking randomly to stop anybody else from eating her dinner that she doesn't want to eat. So I'm hoping that she'll shut up and eat her dinner. She seems to be doing now. So hi. How is everyone? Robin Dev, it's lovely to have you back. Craig and Karen and Joan and anybody else who's in the house up in Sydney town. It does feel like that kind of slightly ghost towny kind of time just before Christmas. Everyone's busy. I've had a couple of emails from people saying that they won't be here tonight because they've got other stuff on. And you'll notice I have a rock over my shoulder. This is you might have noticed. Hello, Sarah. How are you going? Hello, Paul and Ros. Lovely to see you. Bit of art painted by my brother-in-law, Gwendal. I know that Gwendal won't be watching, but hi, Gwendal. So Mum and Dad purchased that for their new downstairs apartment. And then there's 2 more little narrow ones that you can see there. So we don't have anywhere to hang them, so they're just propped at the moment. Hello, Linda. Oh, everyone's coming in now. It's been a busy afternoon, busy day, busy week, crazy, crazy. And you'll have noticed on my little email that we're just getting over the shock of that horrible thunderstorm and hail that we had 2 nights ago. So our vines are a little bit sad. Well, the vines are fine. The grapes are a little bit damaged. You're melting. Craig, it is so weird. Like, hang on, I'm going to turn this never works well, but I'm going to turn this around to show you. Hopefully, it's so grey out there. Oh, you can't really tell. Oh, there's the Christmas tree. I should have turned the lights on if I was going to do that. But it's grey and overcast. I've got my summer shirt on because I refuse to wear a jumper in December, but it's not very warm here. So enjoy the warm weather, you guys in Sydney. Hello, Cotty and John. Peter's making mushroom tortillas, which is very exciting tonight. So he's cooking away. He said, when do you want them? I said, sometime between 6 and 6:30. So we'll see how we go. I think Nina might be on her way, maybe, if we're lucky. Be nice. I have a couple of people in my live audience. Hello, Nareem and all the delights. Hello, Shell and Andrew and Andrew's parents. How delightful. Mushroom gnocchi. Yum. All right. Well, it sounds like we should get some wine in our glasses, hey? I have to. Oh, no, you might be able to see it. It's all right. I'll get the Christmas decorations in place for next week so that we're fully Christmased up. You'll be very pleased to hear that Polly's actually eating her dinner now. So calm down. Okay, Robinson Vineyard Pinot Noir, 2021. Hang on. There we go. Got it. 2021. So this is part of the new release series of single vineyard Pinots that we released in June here. The garden we did a few weeks ago, the Robinson we're doing today, the McIntyre we're doing next week to just, finish up our Christmas. Hello, Ellison. Lovely to see you. And again, so this you can see immediately in the glass. And Craig, I've got to say that if you're going to put ice cubes in Pinot, this is probably not a bad Pinot to do that to, because it is quite light in colour, but it's got quite a lot of structure, but it's very forward, it's very floral. What I would recommend is having an ice bucket on the table and just sticking your bottle of wine in the ice bucket and chilling the whole bottle of wine down rather than putting ice cubes in the wine, because they'll just melt and dilute the flavours a little bit. 1 or 2 ice cubes, though, in a flavoursome young wine like this, actually not the worst thing in the world, particularly if the wine's a bit warm. But a little bit of fridge time or a little bit of time on ice in an ice bucket, very good for a wine like this on a hot day, if you happen to be lucky enough to be having a hot day. It's got the most incredible perfume, and I think just ice wrap on the bottle. Good work, Craig. I have to say that I've had occasion in 32 degrees, Paul and Ross. Whew. Yeah, we had a hot day 2 days this week. I think Monday and Tuesday were hot, and then it got cold again yesterday. And it rained. I don't know if those of you who follow Moorooduc on Instagram, you'll have seen the little video of the absolute torrential rainstorm that we had. But those of you up in Queensland, are you feeling the effects of the cyclone that's I think it was hit far north Queensland? Hopefully that's not affecting you guys too much there. Yesterday was awful in Melbourne, Alison. It was awful at Moorooduc. It was just awful generally. And we discovered partway through yesterday that we had hail damage in the vineyard from the night before. So it was particularly awful for us because we were just feeling quite pleased about the size and quality of our harvest post flowering and fruit set. And then Mother Nature came and slapped us in the face. So, Jill, you'll be pleased to know that Polly's eaten her food.
Hurrah.
Yes, Jill's feeding the birds now. It's restricted to up north, okay, Paul and Roz. So, well, anyone who might be being affected by crazy weather at the moment, stay safe and batten down the hatches, I say. A little time to have a glass of Pinot. So, Robinson Pinot 2021. Quite a cool vintage. Again, if you remember, we've sort of gone through 2021 as a vintage. Quite a cool vintage. I know, Nareem, 33 and 32 Monday and Tuesday in Melbourne. It was pretty hot and it was really steamy and high levels of humidity as well. So it was kind of sticky and it felt like the air was really thick yesterday. So much lightning. Incredible torrential rain. It's been very dramatic, very exciting, not necessarily in a great way. I don't mind a good thunderstorm, love a good thunderstorm. And Polly's a big fan. She likes to sit and watch the thunder, watch the lightning, listen to the thunder. But yeah, not so great for the vines. Not so great for lots of people and lots of people's gardens and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, back to 2021. A cool year, one of those years that we had pretty bad. Hello, Anne. Lovely to see you. Welcome. We've just been talking about the weather, so you really haven't missed much at all. It is so spicy, isn't it, Craig? So it's one of the lovely things about these cooler years. They're quite pale in colour, but because it was a small quantity vintage, even though it was cool over the ripening period, it had plenty of time for these little crops to ripen up really nicely and slowly. So you get these lovely layers of aroma and flavour. Really spicy, beautiful red fruit. It's kind of got this red raspberry cherry fruit note to it. It's very forward and it's very kind of upfront and delicious. And it's the wine that I know Leonie, who's not been able to join us tonight, but she's in cellar door immediately. She's like, that's the wine I can sell because it's just so delicious to drink right now. Whereas the Garden and the McIntyre were a bit awkward when we first released them. They've kind of come out of their shells a little bit since then. But this wine was like at the gates, ready to go. So red fruit, lovely lifted spice notes. It's kind of Moroccan spice. There's almost like a pomegranate molasses kind of a note there. There's this gorgeous, I think I always get sort of coriander and cumin seeds in there, which is why I thought maybe that little Mexican enchilada recipe might work quite well. You'll notice that the actual enchilada recipe is just basically mushrooms and melted cheese. So if you don't want any, hello Penny, lovely to see you. Thank you for your little message this afternoon too. I can't remember if I got around to responding to it. I got halfway through and then I think I got distracted. Anyway, lovely to see you. So if you want to just eat the enchiladas as they are, I think they'll be delicious and they'll probably work better with the Pinot than having them dipped in a spicy tomatoey salsa. Peter's making both, so I'll actually be able to do the taste test today and make a decision about whether it works or not. But I do think that this kind of Pinot Noir, with its kind of big soft fruit character, that spiciness, its juiciness, it does lend itself quite well to a little bit of spice. You want to be really careful with how much spice, particularly how much chili you throw at it, because it can make the tannins quite hard and bitter. But if you get the chili levels kind of just at the right level, it can be quite lovely. Oh, look, there's 17 of you out there now. Just a few minutes ago, there were only 9, so it's lovely to see you all joining so close to Christmas. I hope that you haven't had too stressful a week. It's been a bit mental here. Nareem, it has got that real kind of forest floor character, doesn't it? I'm going to have a sip. I love that. It really needs food because it's got really tangy acidity, and every time I taste this wine, it's that tangy acidity that's a real hallmark of 2021. All the 21s have incredible natural acidity, and when they're young, and that bright red fruit, those earthy. Hello, Jeff and Sue. How you going? The little bit of earthiness, a little bit of mushroomy, kind of leafy characters that stop it from just being all about primary fruit. The spice also gives it a bit more savouriness, a bit more depth, and it's such a young wine. It's lovely to drink right now, and it's going to be great if you put it in the cellar and keep it for 8, 10, 15 years. It's going to age really nicely. It'll lose a lot of that vibrant red fruit, but because of that acid tannin structure, it'll be delicious. Shell wine is fabulous with the creamy mushroom gnocchi. Absolutely, I reckon that that creaminess in a mushroom gnocchi pasta sauce would be amazing with this wine because of that high acid, and it will kind of play with the creaminess in the it is absolutely almost popping candy level, Craig. I agree, and it really calls out for some food to kind of modify it a little bit. And if you've got sort of a creamy sauce, or you've got a mushroomy enchilada, a quesadilla, I think it would be nice. Cotty's saying that it's better with just the quesadilla. The mushroom brings out the fruit of the wine. The tomato kills it all. Yeah, tomato and chili are both hard to match to Pinot Noir, and I thought I might have been pushing the boat out a little bit too far with that recommendation. So I hoped that you would be really careful with how you use the salsa, but it's such a lovely salsa recipe. I think even if it doesn't work with the Pinot, you'll have lots of fun with that salsa, as well as being lovely with the quesadillas. It's great just kind of drizzled across you can just eat it with corn chips, just drizzle it across some barbecued meat, steak, lamb, whatever, stick it in a taco. It's pretty awesome. Okay. What else? I really love this wine's floral notes as well. We haven't talked about that. And there's kind of a real kind of pink rose perfume, almost like rose water. And no chili in yours, Cotty. Very smart. But tomato as well. Tomato, because tomato's got so much sugar and acid in it, then the sugar and acid in the tomato and that umami kind of tomatoes are weirdly quite bitter, but they're bitter and sugar and sweet and acidic, and the sugar and the acid and the bitterness kind of balance each other out in the tomato, but makes it really hard to match tomato to most wines. And I still haven't quite worked out why Sangiovese particularly, but Italian red grape varieties work much better with tomato than French ones, because there's as much tomato in French cooking, particularly in the south of France, as there is in Italian cooking. But I always find that Sangiovese, Pinot Gris on skins work much better with tomato because those certainly, well, the Pinot Gris got lower acid. Sangiovese's got high acid and quite a lot of tannin, but it's got a sort of a tomatoey flavour to it. So it's a weird one. I'm not quite sure why, but I certainly know that it is hard to match tomato to Pinot Noir. And some people are more sensitive to them fighting than others. So just pop that tomato aside, Cotty, and have it when your Pinot's finished. So rose petals, there's a little bit of violet in there as well. and almost like an orange blossom kind of a note as well. The wine makes the pear in the salad taste cheesy. Awesome. Are you sure you're not eating a piece of cheese that you thought was pear shell? I've done that before. But yes, I think that that pear in, like, this is another one of those weird things, and we could talk about fruit in salad till the cows come home. And I think that things like pear in salad can either be like tomato and fight with the wine, or it can work really well depending on how ripe the pear is, depending on how much vinaigrette's on it, depending what the other bits of the salad are. But they certainly can take, the wine can sort of take away some of the sweetness of the pear and make it taste a bit more savoury, which I think is quite cool. Food and wine, it's weird, isn't it? Like, I think it's always much more interesting. Like, it's sort of purer to taste wine on its own, but it's much more interesting to taste it with food. Even if the food and wine match isn't perfect, you get to know different aspects of the wine much more when you try and match it to this food or that food and see how it works. But I actually, Peter picked up on it, and probably a lot of you did too, on my email that I sent out on Tuesday. I started writing, and I was going to give you a recipe for, because again, it was a Mexican recipe, but it was a polenta and mushroom and broccoli recipe that you kind of cook down the mushrooms and the broccoli with a little bit of chili, and you make the polenta, set the polenta, and then grill the polenta, and then spoon the stuff over the top, which I thought sounded delicious. But then I remembered that we just did polenta a few weeks ago. So halfway through writing my email out to you, and I'd kind of planned it all, and a mushroom and polenta, hurrah, hurrah, and then changed the recipe. So if you're wondering where the polenta went, that's what happened there. But also, I do think that mushroom and polenta in all sorts of ways. Ottolenghi also has a beautiful recipe for soft, cheesy polenta on a board covered in slow-cooked mushroom kind of ragu, which is delicious and gives you a different kind of mushroom and polenta flavour profile. So trying to find the perfect food and wine match for you guys when we've done a lot of Pinot over the last 4 years and trying to come up with something different is a little bit of a challenge for me at the moment. I think it probably is pointing to the fact that maybe I need a little Christmas holiday so I can restore my creative juices and come up with some more ideas for wine and food matching in the new year, which I think will be, I'm sure I will be inspired. I am actually also going to Japan in January, so I'll probably come back wanting to talk to you about Japanese food till the cows come home. So hopefully you'll be up for that. Duck and mushroom dishes never get old. That's right, Rob and Deb. And Miriam didn't decant, and the wine's opening up beautifully. Nose much richer, mushroom and spices, and softened a little on the palate. Yeah, I agree. I didn't decant the wine either because I like seeing it open up. It's sort of all the fruit comes out first, and then those richer mushroomy, earthy kind of notes come through with a bit of air, with a bit of a swirl, and just show you how much potential this wine is going to have to age and develop and do good things. I thought you might be up for Japanese food chat, Shell. I'm a bit of a sucker for it myself too. So this wine, as we've always seen with the Robinson Pinot, there's something really lovely and immediate about the Robinson Pinot. It's got this beautiful sort of line and focus to it. Very red fruited in 2021, but those herbs and spices are sort of very gently kind of wrapped around that fruit. And it's really interesting that as the wine's airing and having it with food, I think will bring out different characters of the wine. But for me, it's that red fruit and those floral lift that really kind of jumps out of the glass at me and makes it it's like that person at the party who wants to dance with everyone. It's got its arms in the air and it just doesn't care. Jeff and Sue, you're having duck and fig terrine. That would be rather delicious with that Pinot. I feel like I've got a bit of cat hair on my face or something. Sorry, guys. I'll stop fiddling with my face. managed to avoid the sneezes and the sniffles so far today, but I can't promise anything going forward. The cats have taken over this room since Frodo dear departed, and it's their domain now. Polly's taken up residence on her sofa though, so that's nice. Penny, it absolutely is you. You've got to jump around and dance and talk with everyone at the party, whereas I'm more like the McIntyre Pinot. I sit in the corner in the kitchen and wait for people to come and draw me out of myself a little bit. Now, I've got to say, while we're sort of, letting this wine open up in the glass and while I'm waiting for my mushroom quesadillas, which I'm hoping will come and visit me very soon, I have to say thank you to Craig and Karen. Craig particularly. Oh, here it comes. Woohoo. There you go, Pete. Have some. Bit hot, are they? Okay. Good. Oh, excellent. Thank you. There's some wine for you. Guys, you've got to see this. This looks amazing. I've got my own personal chef. Look at that. Oh, yum. Thanks, Pete. I'll let them cool down temperature-wise before I shove one in my face. What was I saying? Yeah, excellent, Nareem. Come and join me in the kitchen. We'll have a deep and meaningful about something really deep and meaningful. It'll be great. Be a bit shy, be a bit intense, be a bit, savoury. I was saying, Craig and Karen, thank you so much for making some time while you were down in Melbourne to organise a catch-up for some of us at a gorgeous little restaurant. Now, I've never been there before, and I'll admit I had a bit of trouble finding it, first of all, because it's kind of in a group of shops off Burke Street, sort of the behind Chinatown, up some escalators, and the sign wasn't out because it was a bit windy. Anyway, we found it eventually. Tiny little restaurant, chef up at the bar shucking oysters for us. An amazing list of Chablis. I think there were some other wines on the list, but we didn't bother really looking at those. So almost exclusively Chablis with a bit of champagne, a bit of this and a bit of that. It was so fun. So if you guys are looking for somewhere to eat oysters and drink Chablis, then Pearl is a beautiful place to go. You probably won't find Moorooduc Estate on the list, but you'll find lots of fun stuff. And we had two people in the group who, including Craig, who said they weren't huge oyster fans, but those oysters were amazing, right? They were so fresh and they were so delicious. It was awesome. So thank you very much, Craig, for organising that and booking it. It was awesome fun. I hope your Christmas party was good on Sunday too. Oh, you've been there too, Nareem. Of course you have. I'm probably the last person to find out about Pearl. And I asked my distributor, I said, are they good? Are they good people? And he couldn't say nicer things about them either. So that was rather nice. Put it on the list, Alison. I've got to say, all the other food besides the oysters were tiny little serves. So you might, if you are hungry, you might want to either order some oysters if you're happy to fill up on oysters, or I know the oysters were unreal, weren't they? The rest of the food was kind of little. It was delicious. It was exquisite, but little serves. So very special place for a couple of glasses of Chablis and a few oysters and some really good company. So thanks, guys, for those of you who came. Next year, we're going to organise some more things in Melbourne and hopefully in Sydney and in Brisbane. Hello, Nina! Nina's made it. Oh, dear. The dogs are very excited. Polly's got the slipper. It's all going on here. All right. Dare I try one of these mushroom quesadillas, Pete? Or do you think it'll still be too hot? All right. I'll have this one without the salsa. Oh, yum. That's really good, Pete. Thank you. No, it's good. So the flavour of the corn tortilla and the mushroom and the cheese is delicious with the Pinot. It does make it, I reckon it makes the Pinot taste more savoury. the corn kind of brings it out, which is why I think polenta is probably going to work quite well with this too. No, Paul, you can't have my mushroom quesadilla. Everyone's very excited now. Daisy and Ivy are barking. Nanny, you've set all the dogs on the drinks with Kate off as well. Oopsie do. All right. I'm going to go into the tomato salsa that Pete's made. Mm-hmm. Mm. Actually, you know, it does kind of take away from the vibrancy of the wine a little bit. The tomato kind of shadows it a bit, but it works better than I thought it was going to. So I reckon that's not a dreadful food and wine match. And I really love the salsa with the quesadilla. So I think for me, yeah, that's pretty good, pretty successful. Pete actually put a little bit of chili in there, not too much, and that kind of softened the tomato sweetness and acidity as well. So, so Cotty and John, if you've got a little bit of Tabasco sauce or something, you might want to have a little play with a tiny drop of that in your salsa and see if that helps. Weird that that's going to help it, but it seems to be working for me. And Shell is saying that the polenta chips work very well with the wine. Well, I do love a polenta chip. As I said, I did the polenta chips a couple of, it was a few weeks ago, but I'm sure I did polenta recently, or talked about polenta at least. But yeah, polenta and mushroom, always good. I think next week with the duck Pinot, we'll have to have duck, whether you do Peking duck or whether we do little, duck tartlets or duck pies or whatever. I'll see if I can find. Now, who was it? I don't think it was any of you guys who have chatted to me today, but someone will come. To bark at the cat, the dogs. That was a cat. That was a cat trying to come in. The dogs have scared it away. It's all very sad. Polly, stop. Shh. I know. It's very exciting. Sorry, guys. Vegan duck. Yeah, Shell. Well, Shell, you can always go back with mushrooms again. Mushroom, beetroot. I will think of a little vegetarian alternative to duck. If you want to go with your vegan duck, absolutely knock yourself out. Is it good? Have you found a good one? There's also a couple of duck companies that sell duck in Victoria that it's free range. Well, I think it's probably wild duck actually. So maybe for that or against it, but it's more game meat than the bred stuff. The vegan stuff isn't bad. Okay, Craig Goodman says that he is doing venison. I think venison would be fantastic, Shell. I think that's a great idea, Craig. Venison would be delicious next week. Also, this would be another opportunity for you to have a play with wallaby or kangaroo if you wanted to go down that path. That would be, particularly if you're having a cut that you just kind of sear very quickly and keep it nice and rare and juicy. I think that would be awesome. So yes, absolutely. I will do a little bit more research. Or maybe we won't just be doing duck. Maybe we'll be doing venison as well. I think that could be a way to go. So, I've got lipstick all over my glass. It's gross. And my wine's gone a bit flat now, so I just need to give it a little top up. Is there such a thing as a dumb face for wine? And if so, what is that all about? Robin Dever asking, bringing me back to serious wine questions. Thank you. Yes, wine can go through a dumb phase, and Pinot Noir is one of the grape varieties that is particularly prone to doing that. And basically, it's as the primary fruit fades, but the tertiary savouriness hasn't really evolved. So you lose that bright, tangy vibrancy that we're seeing in this wine tonight. But the wine hasn't had time to evolve all of those extra savoury, earthy, mushroomy, truffly, leafy, forest floor characters enough to kind of take the place of that vibrant fruitiness. So the wine will tend to smell and taste a bit bland. It won't have the lift, it won't have the perfume, it'll just be a bit closed down. Usually that dull phase in Pinot Noir will last for maybe 6 to 12 months. It's usually not much longer than that. It's problematic because I can't tell you with any certainty when it's going to happen. But I find if I'm not drinking a wine sort of on release and I've had it sort of in the cellar for a couple of years, then I'd probably be tempted to keep it in the cellar for a couple more years before I go back and look at it, because these wines usually also depending on when they're released. Like, you know, we're drinking 2021 Robinson Pinot at the moment. It's pretty young, it's pretty vibrant, it's pretty delicious as a young wine. It may go into a bit of a dumb phase in maybe a year or 2 or 3, and it might only last for a few months, it might last for a year. So I find that if I haven't drunk a wine within sort of, so 21, where are we up to? 23. So this one's sort of a 2 years out from 2 years out from being picked and made. If I haven't drunk it in the next 12 months, I'll probably put it aside for a good 5 years and just let it do its thing. If you've got a few bottles and you open a bottle and it just doesn't look as delicious as it used to, that's a really good sign that you should just not give up on the other bottles, but just put them away for another 5 years or another 3 years or even another 2 years, and just let them go through their awkward phase and come out the other side, and they'll be like beautiful butterflies. Linda, is it different bottle to bottle or more generally vintage to vintage? It's different vintage to vintage. So the consistency from bottle to bottle is pretty good, but I couldn't say for sure that a Pinot from Moorooduc is going to go through a dumb phase at sort of the 3 to 4 year mark. Some of them will, some of them won't. And sometimes they'll go through a couple of them. So the 2011 McIntyre Chardonnay, for example, which is looking delicious again now. About 2 years ago, Jeremy and I tasted a bottle and just went, oh, we think it's a bit past its prime. But it was just going through a dumb phase, and it came out the other side and it's looking delicious again. So I think you can usually tell when a wine is fading for good because the fruit drops out of it really quickly when it's in the glass and when the air hits it. So in a wine like this, you can sort of see that you swirl it and you get it in the glass and you give it a good, mix it around and get it moving, and you smell different things as it evolves, and it sort of slows down a little bit, then it opens up again. That's the same sort of process that will do much more slowly in the bottle when it's sealed in the cellar. So it gives you an idea of how the wine is going to age, seeing how it changes in the glass while you're drinking it, which is one of the nice things about drinking it slowly over sort of half an hour to an hour and sort of seeing how it evolves. So, what else can I say? What other questions? I feel like I've kind of run out of puff. It's been a big week. It's been fun though. We've got the house pretty Christmassy. I can't believe that it's Christmas next weekend. That's crazy. We are getting together for our Drinks with Kate online Christmas party next Thursday. Where did I get my shirt from? Shell, this is thank you. This is a couple of years ago now from Blue Illusion. So not particularly fancy, but it is nice. It's pretty and it's really comfy. It's nice and yeah. Thank you. Glad you like it. I felt like a bit of colour was needed today. And the florals in the shirt remind me of the florals in the wine as well. So always dress to match the wine that you're going to be drinking on a day, because I think it just enhances the whole experience. Okie doke, team. I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to go and eat my mushroom quesadillas because they're too delicious, and they're a bit too messy to eat while I'm trying to talk to you, although I am going to have another little bite. It's nice having my own private chef. Thank you, Peter, for cooking for us. I'm going to go and eat some quesadillas. Love you all. See you again if you can make it next Thursday. I won't be offended if you don't make it next Thursday because it is nearly Christmas, but it'll be fun. And yeah, we're going to have a break after that for about a month. So it's your last chance to see me for a little while, unless you come and visit me at the winery. All right, guys, take care and have a lovely week. Cheers.